Hello everyone, I'm Nietzahone, and it is Monday, and that means it's time for my weekly draft video, and we're going to go ahead and jump in this queue, and I'll be back with you when the draft fires. Okay, well, this pack is an interesting one. We do have Kefnet, who I think is not the greatest god in Limited, but if you end up in a grindy deck, he's great. And this pack doesn't really have any like high quality anything really. I mean, Trial of Solidarity is good, Nest of Scarabs is good, but you really have to get there on a certain deck for it to work. Kefnet, you know, it works in any deck as long as it's a little bit grindy, and even if it's not grindy, it's an okay card because it just draws you cards, and sometimes it can just be a huge problem. So I think we probably just first pick Kefnet here, which is nice. It's the first god I'll have picked and probably going to play. There's no guarantee, but that's what we're going to take here. I've picked a couple of other gods in my... Ooh, hello. I just took off the Angler Drake and God Count on my thing because I was like, I'm never going to get those, and now I got them both. So definitely Angler Drake, super good blue card. The best, one of the best uncommons. I think maybe Cast Out's the only one better than it. What else does this pack have? Nothing exciting. Crop Elite's fine. But yeah, we're going to take Angler Drake here. Okay. Here it might be Splendid Agony. It's a decent removal spell. I like it more than, you know, like Floodwaters is fine, but unexciting. Most of the cards in this pack are also not. We're not seeing any, like, great cards for the most part, other than the ones that we've taken. And Splendid Agony is a solid card, and we'll take it here. Okay, I do like Gale Strike. I think it's what I take here. Painful Lesson is okay. It also helps us, you know, get to making Kefnet active, but Gale Strike replaces itself, so it kind of does the same thing. So yeah, we'll take Gale Strike. Yeah, so my trend of doing way, way better on drafts on the Ether Hub has continued. I have, you know, the easiest way of noting that is I have 3 trophies in drafts I record on the Ether Hub and 1 here. But my record, overall record in the format has been pretty solid so far. This pack, I mean, I could take a Heckma Sentinels. It's just like a boring but fine 3-drop. There's also an Unburden, which at least has cycling and is playable because of that. Yeah, it's one of those 2 cards. I don't like Slitherblade or Decision Paralysis a whole lot. Black may not even be our secondary color, but none of the cards here are saying, hey, move into a different color. I mean, Winged Shepherd maybe is telling us to do that a little bit, but let's go ahead and just take another blue card here. Okay, a second Splendid Agony or a River Serpent. I think I'm going to go for a second Splendid Agony. There's a pretty late Quarry Hauler. There's also a Floodwaters and an Ancient Crab here, and if we're a Kefnet deck, we probably want to play at least one Ancient Crab. But I can probably pick one up later. And maybe speculating on a green card here is going to be better because there's 2 pretty good ones. So let's take the Quarry Hauler and see what happens. Okay, yeah, late Bitterblade Warrior as well. There's also another Winged Shepherd. I don't like either of these blue cards. So I'm going to take probably Bitterblade Warrior. Kind of pushed over the edge because I've already taken another green card. Watch, I won't be able to play Kefnet. I've drafted, I think, both... I've drafted Kefnet once before and Bontu once, and I couldn't play... In both cases, it wasn't optimal to play them. Once I could have splashed Bontu, but my deck was like a 9-creature deck, and you don't want that if you have Bontu. You need more than that. Okay, this pack has some decent blue stuff in it. I like Seeker of Insight reasonably. I like Winds of Rebuke. I think I'm going to take the Seeker here. 2 drops, you know. There's also a Hooded Brawler, which is another decent green card. So green maybe should be our second color instead of Splendid Agony. We'll keep an eye on that. We have 2 playable green cards and 2 playable black cards at this point, so... yeah. Again, I think this is the best card in the pack. A green card, you know, Scarab Feast is okay, but an Oashra Cultivator is too, but I'll take Stinging Shot here. Okay, well, Shed Weakness is the best card in this pack. I could take the Cultivator because at least it'll help me splash though, so let's do that. And Decision Paralysis, I might play. I don't think it's unplayable, I just don't love it. Yeah, green. Don't probably want to play Scribe of the Mindful in this deck. So blue seemed open enough. Not incredibly open, but open enough. You got this late Seeker of Insight. Green, okay. Well, this pack kind of makes me sad, but for a good reason, I guess. Because we have Angler Drake, which I love. But there's also a Curator of Mysteries, which is just better than Angler Drake. Angler Drake's better than a lot of rares, but it's not better than Curator of Mysteries. Who costs 2 less for the same size and also has some scry upside. There's like no way this Angler Drake comes back to me either. This is a strong pack in general. All 4 of these cards are decent first picks or better. And these 3 I think are all good first picks. Defiant Great Maw is just a medium one. And then Magma Spray is also a solid first pick. But yeah, we'll take the Curator of Mysteries. I wish I had an Angler Drake. So Canyon Slough doesn't really help us splash anything at this point. I do like Warfire Javelineer a lot. But, you know, I should probably be looking at green cards, but those aren't very good. The blue ones in this pack, also not great. Open Into Wonder is good, but I feel like you want a more aggressive deck to make it work. Can make Kefnet active sooner. Could just take a Crab because this looks like a kind of deck where we're going to want to kill people with our big creatures in the air and just slow them down in the early going. An Ancient Crab is pretty good at that. Yeah, I think I'll take a Crab here because the green cards and black cards in here are both underwhelming. So I'd rather have a Crab, sadly. Okay. Again, the green cards and the black cards in here are underwhelming. I think it's Censor, Illusory Wrappings, or Shimmer Scale Drake. Probably Censor. I mean, I like all 3 of these cards pretty close. But Censor I think I like the most because sometimes in the early game you can really get someone, and then in the late game it turns into a really efficient cycler. Should we just turn into a blue-red spell stack? Is that what we're supposed to be doing? It's starting to feel that way, despite all the green cards we've taken and a couple black cards. Like, you know, Enigma Drake is really good in a blue-red spells deck, and we're getting there on spells. Right now we don't have a ton, but it's not going to be hard to add to them. I could also potentially splash Enigma Drake, I guess. But yeah, I think I take it. I mean, Cartouche of Ambition is solid. So is Winds of Rebuke, but let's take an Enigma Drake. See what happens. Okay, Labyrinth Guardian is a solid 2-drop. Hieroglyphic Illumination is good. I think we kind of need 2 drops, though, at this point. And he's a good one. So we shall take him. Okay, another Cartouche. Also a Greater Sandworm. You know, also an Ancient Crab, also an Essence Scatter. Those are fine, but Greater Sandworm and Cartouche of Ambition are both way better. I'm kind of leaning towards the Cartouche, which means black is sort of back in this. Bounty of the Luxa. Okay, well, I'm incapable of passing that card if I'm in one of its colors, and we already have a bunch of really good green cards. So if someone's going to pass us Bounty of the Luxa when we're already in green, I'm going to take it. So, sorry Enigma Drake, but I need Bounty of the Luxa in my life. It's a super, super powerful card. I think to a greater extent than people seem to realize so far. I'm recording this draft pretty far ahead of time, it's worth noting. People by now may be all over it, but I've drafted it like 4 times already, and you can see I've only drafted 15 times. So that's kind of a ridiculous number of times. I had 2 once in a draft I recorded for this channel, actually. Here we want Shimmer Scale Drake. I don't think there's much of a debate to be had. The only reason we would run the Cultivator, I'm leaving it in for now, is if we end up wanting to splash. But I'm going to take an Initiate's Companion here. Well, I can take a Khopesh, which is fine, but not very exciting. Oashra Cultivator. I think Supply Caravan's the best card in this pack, but I guess I'll take another Cultivator. We already have one Dissenter's Deliverance in our sideboard. We probably don't want more than one. All the Cultivators. Okay, well. Sure. Alright, I'll take another Crab. This looks like a Crab deck. There's Kefnet's Monument. I don't think I play it. I don't love that one. So we could definitely use some more removal to really feel like we've gotten there on a control deck. Like, this part of our deck looks controlling, but we don't have that much removal. Quarry Hauler you can actually use to abuse the counters on Bounty of the Luxa, which I've done. Kefnet the Mindful will also like drawing cards off of Bounty of the Luxa, so I'm going to take a Full Art Mountain. I don't know why. I've ended up in blue-green in probably a third of my drafts too, maybe more. Just keeps happening to me because I keep seeing Bounty of the Luxa. Man, so we can definitely splash Cast Out. If we have one Cultivator, we can run two if we have to. I think that seems reasonable. Dusk Till Dawn, Dusk to Dawn, I guess, is pretty good, but obviously we're not playing that. We can play Cast Out, though, and what we're giving up, I mean, we could also splash Electrify. You know, we do have an Enigma Drake, too, so if we picked up enough fixing, we could potentially run both of those things. So maybe Electrify is a little more upside, but Cast Out's just way better than Electrify. What I mean to say is Electrify is a little more upside in our deck in the event we get more fixing, but I think we take Cast Out and try to splash it. Okay. Here I think I just take another Drake. Yep. Prowling Serpapard isn't bad. We are in blue-green, and I like Spring to Mind because of that. It's also another source of fixing. So yeah, I think we probably take it because it makes Cast Out a much more reasonable playable in our deck. I do like the Serpapard and the Initiate and Sandworm. Those are all cards I would take, but I think I'm going to take Spring to Mind here. New Perspectives is okay-ish. You know, most of the time it's just going to be pay 6, draw 3, which is a mediocre rate, but not a terrible one. Do we want Ornery Kudu? Or Initiate's Companion? I don't really want Decision Paralysis. In fact, I don't really want to play my first Decision Paralysis. It's one of these two. I think I'm going to go with the Kudu. Another Spring to Mind or Gale Strike. I think I take Gale Strike over a second Spring to Mind. Yeah. Okay, I do love me some Greater Sandworm, and I think I take it over Hieroglyphic Illuminations. This gives us another big win condition in the late game. Who can cycle early. Okay, I'll take another Seeker of Insight. And be pretty happy about it. Now I'll take Winds of Rebuke and be reasonably happy about it. This is fixing. You know, a lot of it's not until the late game, but it is fixing. But yeah, I think we take Winds of Rebuke here. I think between Spring to Mind and Electro Cultivator, we're probably good on fixing for our Cast Out. So I think maybe Initiate's Companions are worst 2-drops, so he may be about to be on the outside looking in. Yeah. This looks like a reasonable deck. Bounty of the Luxa and Angler Drake are big all-stars, I guess. Curator of Mysteries also. I kind of forgot it. He's in there too. But he's very good. So, okay, another Quarry Hauler. Doesn't seem bad to me. See, this fixes too, and I think people are more into it than they are the other land, but I think the other land is better actually at fixing. The one that we just saw, Cascading Cataracts. I don't really need another Cultivator. I'll take a Shed Weakness that I'm probably not going to play. Okay, that is something I'll take. Okay, thanks for letting me know that Magic Online will be offline soon. Might only get one match in before it goes offline. So get Greater Sandworm, we want to play him. And that leaves us needing to cut something else. We didn't end up with any ramp apart from Bounty of the Luxa, so that is kind of a downside, but these guys have cycling, so... Okay, well, I probably will play a second Spring to Mine over my first Oashra Cultivator. I just think it's a better card than they are. So, you know, it fixes for you for basically the same mana cost, and then in the late game you can cash in the second half and draw some extra cards. Which all sounds good to me. We do need to cut 2 cards, though. We ended up with a lot of cycling, but our only cycling payoff is Curator of Mysteries. I'm not sure we want Winds of Rebuke main board. It's fine, but we have like 2 Gale Strikes, which are way better. In most situations, Winds of Rebuke can hit any permanent. It's worth noting. Gale Strike only hits tapped creatures, but it replaces itself, and that makes a big difference. So Quarry Haulers, we have the Kudu, and then we have Bounty of the Luxa, and those are the only things it'll be doing stuff with. I don't really want to cut anything up here. I definitely don't want to cut my Curator. I could cut 1 Crab and not feel too bad about it. And I have the second one to side in against an opponent with a lot of ground creatures. I mean, we have a lot of good ground blockers like Seeker of Insight and this when it puts the counter somewhere else. And then maybe we cut 1 Quarry Hauler too. We could think about cutting a Sandworm instead, but I think I'm going to go with Quarry Hauler. We have a decent sideboard between Ancient Crab and Stinging Shot and Dissenter's Deliverance, so let's keep those things in mind as we're playing. But yeah, this deck looks pretty sweet to me. We just need to run 1 Plains. Yeah, decent number of forests, but not a million, but also not 5. I think we go to 9. Maybe want to go 8/8. We have enough cycling that hitting the mana of the second color shouldn't be that hard. Yeah, and we want to be able to cast Spring because, you know, it's kind of important to get fixing. So we want to make sure we have green mana in some ways before we have blue, because Spring can help us find whatever mana it is we need. So I think this will be our deck, and I'll see you guys in the first match. All right, we're going into the first match of an Amonkhet draft, and we would like to play first. That is a bad hand, though, so it's going away. All right, this one's better. You know, we have an early Kudu. We don't have our white mana for cast out or another early drop, but we have 1 early drop. I think I'm okay with drawing this because I can just cycle it on turn 2 if I don't draw like more lands or something. Well, I guess I'm not going to see if I'm going to draw more lands first. I'll probably just be cycling it, though, at the end of my opponent's turn. And then play the Kudu as a 2/3. There are worse things. Alright, black-green. That deck can be pretty scary if it gets there. Spring's nice. I've had 1 black-green deck that really got there that I recorded here on my channel. I think that's the only 3-0 on my channel I've managed so far. It was pretty awesome. So something to be afraid of when it really gets there. I think we still play Ornery Kudu. We could think about playing the Seeker first. Maybe we do that. It's not like we're under pressure, and the Seeker can draw us, help us loot. It's also somewhere to put the -1/-1 counter next turn. So we probably grab our plains before we grab our second island, because the chances we draw a second island are way, way higher than they are that we draw our plains. Okay. Yeah, there's our second island anyway. So yeah, I think I just play the Kudu here and put the counter on my Seeker. And in my turn. Next turn, we're probably casting Spring unless we draw something else here. And again, grabbing our plains, which means we're almost to Angler Drake mana too if we just hit a land after that. Okay. I'm guessing you're going to put that on your Scorpion, yeah. That Scorpion can freely attack. All right, so let's go ahead and use Spring. And we'll get a plains, and then we'll also loot. Okay, I'm going to discard my extra Seeker of Insight here. Then I'll end my turn. So we have some nice tempo cards. Oh, too bad we're not. Too bad we're tapped out right now. That's always fun when you can bounce a dude. Although, well, I could have removed him. This can't actually remove him until he's tapped. All right, we take 5. Okay, so I think we probably just play Angler Drake and bounce that. Yeah. He'll have to put the -1/-1 counter somewhere again. It's a pretty nice tempo play when our opponent only has 3 mana too, and we can start attacking in the air for 4. We do have mana to cast Spring. Oh man. Double Cartouche, and now with Death Touch you can just kill my Angler Drake. So we do have Mind in our graveyard, which might just be what we're doing since our opponent has killed all of our creatures. I think I just play Quarry Hauler and remove the counter from our Seeker. Now I'm going to attack with her. All right. Yeah, this cartouche is real good. I wish I had one. I mean, our opponent did have to 2-for-1 himself at least to kill Angler Drake. And Angler Drake gave us some value by bouncing something, but still wasn't ideal. All right, opponent gonna cycle Lake Claim. Are they actually splashing blue? That was an aggressive cycle when you have no permanents in play and looking at least 5 damage. Yeah, okay, yeah. I think I just attack with both of them. I may miss out on a chance to draw with her because I'm either going to cast Mind at the end of my opponent's turn or cast Censor on something this turn. But we'll just get in for 1 with her. Or cast out too, I guess. They're all possible. So we'll censor something if our opponent's playing like a 4-drop. If they're not, okay, they're playing Gift of Paradise, and that's okay. They're just kind of annoying to gain some life, but what are you going to do? Alright, so we're going to cast Mind from our graveyard. Does our opponent have censor? We see that they may be playing some blue. He's going for red mana. Cycling a sandworm, okay. Hello, Kefnet. Well, I probably just play Kefnet. We're not super far away from Kefnet either. Just turning into a dude. We'll attack for 5 again. So, Gale Strike will replace itself, so that's nice. But yeah, if we draw our card next turn and then use Kefnet's ability, we'll be good. Oh, we're gonna get the censor or something, and we will. All right. Okay. So yeah, we can use Kefnet's ability once right now, and then still leave mana up for like Winds of Rebuke. We could play our Curator, but it just doesn't seem necessary right now. So let's return this forest. Yeah. Right, 7 cards. We're going to attack for 10. And, yeah, we'll go back down to 6. And do we just cast another Spring here? I think casting another Spring is fine. And we'll grab another island. Opponent's going to have to pull off something pretty impressive here to not die. So, maybe they will. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to do it. I just have to return another card, draw another card with Kefnet, and Kefnet attacks in the air for lethal. All right. Well, Kefnet got us there for sure. Deck performed pretty sweetly there. We didn't even get our Bounty of the Luxa, so. We did see the good Memorial, which could potentially... It could lead to killing us, basically. So I think putting in another card with Cycling, that can blow that up if we see it. Because if our opponent in the early game just mobs us, I think we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. We do have some early blockers who are solid, but I think putting this in when it has Cycling and we know there's at least one target is fine. Ancient Crab seemed okay, but... Maybe I'd take out like Heckma Sentinels. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I think this hand's keepable because of Cycling. We're just going to be pitching the Dissenter's Deliverance in the early going. I mean, I guess we could hold on to it, see if our opponent plays the Memorial on turn 3, and just cycle next turn, which isn't the worst. Cycle the Drake, that is. Yeah, we're having trouble hitting blue, so yeah, let's see if our opponent plays their Memorial on turn 3 here. Opponent is like 4 colors, which is kind of crazy, I think. Not the Memorial. We're going to cycle our Shimmer Scale Drake. Come on, blue mana. Yes, we did it. Okay, I'm going to play Labyrinth Guardian. We need another blue mana for this crab to start doing his thing. We didn't get any cartouches in this deck, which is kind of disappointing. Yeah, our opponent is... They're running Gift of Paradise, and that's like their main way of trying to cast Lay Claim, which could be pretty gross if it happens. Crocodile of the Crossing. Okay. Fine with me. If I can play my crab, it can block it all day. We'll just take 4 here. Quarry Hauler can actually be played and put another counter on it. That's actually pretty good. Let's drop him down to a 3/2. Does make our Gale Strike a little worse because I don't think we're going to be super excited about casting it when this guy's just going to be bigger when he comes back into play. Cartouche of Strength, okay. Interesting. Okay. Do I just trade with this dude? I think I do now. Try at least. Take 1. Yeah. Okay. We have plenty of time to spring. What's your... It only costs 4 to embalm. I'm gonna cycle this. Finally. Hello, Angler Drake. Now that makes me want to spring for blue mana. But for now, I'm just going to embalm my Labyrinth Guardian. Give my chance a few, maybe 1 or 2 more draw steps to try to hit that extra blue mana. We don't have Cast Out in our hands, so at least, like, you know, but we could draw it and then not have our white mana, which would be really frustrating. Three, 4, 5. So our opponent has 7 mana, so we could be about to see like a Sandworm, which Angler Drake would be awesome against, but we do not have the correct mana. Yeah, there's a Sandworm. Gale Strike will also be pretty good on the Sandworm. Okay, there's Kefnet. I am going to cast Spring here. Leave mana up for Gale Strike. Man, I think I just need to grab the second island. We're doing it. I don't love it, but we're doing it. And we'll end our turn. Cartouche. No, Gift of Paradise. Okay. Well, they have all the mana they'll ever want. Although they're not going to have enough to recast their Sandworm this turn. So that's good. That's very good for us. Gives us some breathing room to cast Kefnet. Get out of here. Hey, Gale Strike number 2. Well, we're just going to keep bouncing our opponent's stuff. That much is clear. We're going to attack. We definitely ended up in a pretty ideal deck for Kefnet, where we're just sort of dirtily. He's not good in every deck, but I think in ours he's pretty good. We have card draw. We have, you know, cards that replace themselves. We have cards with Embalm. I think this is our only one actually, but still. I can draw a card with this at the end of my opponent's turn, so that's probably what I'll do. Sandworm it is. Alright, so let's go ahead and draw a card. I don't want to return a land though. No. There's our Sandworm. So I think I probably just play Angler Drake here as opposed to making Kefnet able to attack. We can do that next turn. Yeah, so we'll play Angler Drake. Bounce Greater Sandworm. And we'll attack for 2 on the ground. Get our opponent back down to 20. Okay, so yeah, I think I hold on to this card, partly because of Kefnet. I only have to use his ability once next turn, and he can attack in the air 2, giving us 9 total attack in the air, and then we can still leave mana up for Gale Strike. So our opponent is not going to be in great shape if what they're doing here is playing Sandworm. Yeah, and that's what they're doing. We just get to keep bouncing the heck out of Sandworms. Yeah, and no. Well, there's a Bounty of the Luxa. I kind of feel like I have to play that. So yeah, we'll attack for 9 in the air. But I guess I won't. I'll just hold up mana for Gale Strike. That's the responsible thing to do here. Yeah, and we'll end our turn. Okay, well, this time we're using Winds of Rebuke. Bounces the dude back to his hand and just doesn't let the cartouche happen. Do mill a few cards. Oh god, our opponent has Glorybringer. I'm very glad I milled that. None of my shenanigans are very good against Glorybringer. I guess a big indestructible creature is. It's funny, blue-green has ended up being sort of my favorite archetype in the format. It just has such good tempo. The gold cards are good. So yeah, we won our first match, and I'll see you in the next one. Hello everyone, we are going into the second match of an Amonkhet draft. We won our first one, and I would like to play first. I actually need to update my stats. Look at that hand, though. I'm gonna mulligan that. This one's okay thanks to cycling, but it's still not great. But it's better than a 7-land hand, which the probability of getting is quite low. Quite low. Okay. We won. We're on our 16th draft. We won our first match, so opponent thinking hard about mulliganing. And yeah, we'll keep this one. And I feel pretty good about drawing a land, I think. Well, I'll keep it, but yeah, I guess I don't feel pretty good about it. I feel okay about it. Probably cycle the Sandworm first. Because it's further away from me being able to cast it. Okay, Magic Online, I get it. I have plenty of time for this match, though. Channeler Initiate. That is not really what you want to see in the early game. My opponent can just go crazy over there with ramping. There's Cast Out. All right. I'm going to cast Spring here. And I'm going to grab a Plains. So we can cast Out. If only Quarry Hauler, like if my opponent does not use Channeler Initiate here for mana, they're going to. I could have killed it with my Quarry Hauler. So if we were on the play, that would have been pretty awesome. Okay. Opponent also springing. All right, well, that's a little frustrating. I'm going to play my Quarry Hauler, but I don't think I actually want to do anything with it. I think if we add a counter right now, it gives my opponent's Channel or Initiate more fuel to ramp. So, not exactly what I want to deal with. So Gale Strike will be pretty good against any big monster our opponent plays, unless it's the Hexproof one, in which case we're screwed. But that is not the Hexproof one, so that's good news for us. I guess I'm just going to end my turn and leave up mana for Gale Strike and Cast Out. Yeah. Seems like a plan. Not a good one, but a plan, nonetheless. Yeah, industry, the Hexproof 6/7. I don't know how we'll deal with that. I guess blocking it with Kefnet is the best we can probably do. Benefaction of Ronus. You actually have enough enchantments for that? They have 2 Spring to Minds too. They're about to put Mind in their graveyard. They only get to get 1 card, but I'm guessing it'll be Crocodile of the Crossing. I'm okay with them casting that and only getting 1 card. Yeah, they got the Crocodile of the Crossing. So if he attacks with Colossopede... Crap. Are you about to put a Cartouche on your Colossopede? Because I can't... well, I can Cast Out. That's probably what I would do. If that's what he's about to do. No, just a Defiant Great Maw. No big deal. Okay... Get rid of him. Draw another land. Okay. I think we just cast Shimmer Scale Drake here. And end our turn. Doesn't mean Defiant Great Maw can attack us, but we have damage in the air now, which is nice. I've drafted Channeler Initiate once, and I never drew it, and it was very sad. I think I went 1 and 2 in the draft. It's a super good card, though, obviously. Yeah, put the counter there, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to block it with my Quarry Hauler. Wow. Our opponent is very into -1/-1 counters. Now I wish I could recast this Quarry Hauler just to kill that thing, but what are you going to do, you know? Yeah, so I'm going to block the Crocodile. Okay. There's lots of options here. I could leave up mana for... I could play Labyrinth Guardian and leave up mana for Cast Out. That doesn't seem bad. I think that's what I'll do. And I'm still not attacking, though. We gotta draw something that can push us over the edge to be offensive here. Because right now our opponent's just bringing the Thunder. Bounty of the Luxa would be nice. It would help us get there. I think we have the time to. Floodwaters. What? That's messed up. Okay. So I think I probably cast out on the Defiant Great Maw. Drops us to 13. Gale Strike, that's not bad. We've got 7 mana, so I can't actually leave mana up for the Gale Strike, but I think I still just replay my Drake. Because it can block the Kudu. I mean, our opponent might have a trick, but at least they have to use a trick to bust through the Kudu. We do have Gale Strike to get that back, but that's still not something I enjoyed just now. All right, we do have a giant Sandworm in our hand. I can cast it. My opponent can then attack me for 3 in the air. I go to 7, and then the next turn I can Gale Strike my own Drake. I think that's probably the optimal play. I think developing my board here. I could also just Embalm Labyrinth Guardian and leave up mana, but I think we just want to play the Worm. So that's what we're going to do. I just hope my opponent doesn't bounce my Worm the way we bounced all the Worms in the last game. It does feel pretty bad against bounce spells. Angler Drake will work too, while also developing my board with a much larger creature. Yeah, that's probably better. I'm going to attack with my Sandworm first. I think that's a reasonable thing to do here. He can't swing back at us for a ton. Well, I still have Angler Drake too, but yeah, then if he blows up my Angler Drake, I'm just dead. So it's probably not worth attacking. Yeah, we'll just play... We could play Gale Strike on it now. But yeah, we'll play Angler Drake. It's kind of like it becomes destroy an opponent's creature and draw a card when you get to do that. Yeah, I don't have the guts to attack when I'm only at 7 and my opponent has what will be lethal damage in play. Opponent has a ton of mana. They're about to play their own Angler Drake. Ooh. Yeah, that's lethal. Always fun when Open into Wonder does lethal damage. All right. Exactly lethal. Yeah. I don't think there's anything we can change. This is pretty nice in response to Open into Wonders, but we'll just roll this back out there. I would like to play first. This is a solid hand, and we will keep it. Get to censor something early, most likely, and then play a 3-drop of some kind. Here's our Curator, which we haven't gotten to play all game. All draft, I should say. Of course, this is only our 4th game, so that's not like hugely. I mean, that's a relatively likely thing to happen. I'm gonna play the Sentinels first. We need a 4th land, preferably an island. Spring. I mean, I like our opponent's deck a lot. It's similar to ours in some ways. Okay, so I'm going to attack with my Sentinels and then just play Curator of Mysteries and say, what you got? When we play the Kudu, we can put the counter somewhere and then remove it with the Hauler. So we have that going for us. Our opponent is very into... Both of our opponents today have been very into... Oh, we can kill that with Quarry Hauler this time, you guys. I'm so happy. That's what we wished we could have done last game. We're going to do it this time. Yeah. Maybe we should side in a second Quarry Hauler. Add. Bye-bye. Attack for 6. If it's some big ground monster, I don't really care because we can finish this in the air. Oh, it's neither of those things. It's Floodwaters. Opponent just trying to buy time, though. That's not a bad sign for us. Okay, well, Heckma Sentinel's still going to get in there. And then I'm going to play Curator of Mysteries again. Okay, cycling a Cerodon in their main phase. They have Bounty of the Luxa, huh? So do we. That can dig our opponent out of this game, potentially. One thing I can do, though, is add a counter to it with Quarry Hauler and make it so it adds mana 2 turns in a row. That's not the worst. So that's something to think about. Okay, so... we're going to attack for 6. And I'm going to play... I think, yeah, I'll play Ornery Kudu here. Essence Scatter. Okay, that doesn't hurt me too much. Yeah, we'll play this land, and we'll end our turn. So next turn we can play Quarry Hauler and add a flood counter to Bounty of the Luxa, so our opponent draws twice with it. I mean, gets mana twice with it, which is definitely the better option for us because they have enough mana to do whatever they want anyway. So. Though if we draw land, oh, lay freaking claim. No, you can't have my cultivator. I'm sorry. Good try though. All right, so I'm gonna bash for 2. And then, yeah, I think I actually want to play Quarry Hauler and add a counter. I've played with Bounty of the Luxa enough to know that you'd rather draw a card every turn. At least at this stage of the game you would. If you played on turn 4, getting the mana is pretty great. So, and we can also play Kefnet, actually, so we might as well. Enjoy your extra mana. Oh, wait a second. Why did it remove both flood counters? Oh, it says remove all flood counters. That's why. So clearly I don't know that much about it. Opponent using Mind. Okay. That makes it so I can't... No, I still do lethal right now. Okay, so... see what our opponent does when we attack with both of these. Gale Strike, okay. All right, I'm gonna play Curator of Mysteries. And Quarry Hauler. So, we gotta get in for the last of this damage one way or another. What just happened? Oh, Sandworm Convergence happened. Okay, that's a problem. Yeah. Wow. That's... we have one card in our deck that can bounce a non-land permanent, right? I don't think we have more than... oh, we have Cast Out as well, which can hit a permanent. Yeah. Well... and yeah, we'll return a land. And then we're gonna play our own Bounty of the Luxa. Ooh, almost played Seeker of Insight instead. Go me. And I'll hold on to this land. And I'll end my turn. I do have my own Giant Worm, but Right now, we just want to draw a way to get rid of this so we can kill our opponent in the air. That's kind of my goal. I haven't gotten to draft this card yet. It's a card I've been wanting to draft. It would have been good in this deck, but we just don't have it. Colossopede. Okay. We are going to get to draw an extra card. We do need white mana, too, for our cast out, it's worth noting. But we have 2 cards that can get rid of Sandworm Convergence. There we go. That's what we were hoping for. Okay, so I'm going to cast Winds of Rebuke on Sandworm Convergence. And attack my opponent in the air for 4, hopefully. Please, God. Yeah, looks like we got there. All right. I think that may be the first time I've managed to beat Sandworm Convergence, but my opponent was at 4, so that's really the only reason I managed. Do we want another Quarry Hauler? Our opponent has a lot of -1/-1 counters. So we could bring it in for like Heckma Sentinels. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I think this hand's keepable thanks to cycling and being on the draw. We may not even have to cycle away things super early, but we can if we have to. Probably just play Labyrinth Guardian on turn 2, though. Okay. Yeah, let's play the Guardian first. Opponent cycles their Floodwaters. And a Shimmerscale Drake. Okay. Interesting decision here. I think we probably play the Bitterblade Warrior and hold on to Censor for a later turn. I think developing a word right now is pretty good. Especially with a creature that's not that easy to block. Great Maw. Okay. He's just a 2/3. Fourth mana. So I think I attack and exert my Bitterblade Warrior here. Yeah. Trade those. It's fine with me. I think I just leave mana up to either cycle or cast Censor. I could use Spring here, but I think having the option to Censor or to cycle is pretty good. Okay, well, Censor's not going to work on that. It might work on something if he's going to play 2-drop afterwards, though. Okay, yeah, we're going to cycle our Sandworm. Quarry Hauler. Okay, well, I think we play the Drake now. Start a clock in the air. Opponent could Dreadwaters us right here, but it's not the worst thing to happen. I mean, our Guardian will go to the graveyard, but then we can just recast Shimmerscale Drake if we want to. Opponent has not been tapping out for anything, which is a little annoying. Oh, God. No! They have Samut? How have we not seen that all day? God. Well, we're going to take 6. There's a Winds of Rebuke, which is helpful against Samut's nonsense. Doesn't have reach. She has everything else. I think I am, and my Gale Strike's not going to work on it. I think I am going to cast Spring here for our white mana. And I win my turn. It's no wonder that our opponent's splashing like so much stuff because they have Samut. It's a good reason to do it. I'm going to bounce Samut, which will be nice. Ooh, we've milled their Bounty of the Luxa. We did it. We're just going to take 4. It's probably just going to end up having to cycle our Censor. It's looking more and more like that. We really need to find her Cast Out, most of all. So we're going to attack for 3 in the air and play Quarry Hauler and make this small enough that my Labyrinth Guardian can kill it in combat. You can also use Gale Strike on it, which isn't the worst plan. All right, end our turn there. So Samut's going to come down again. Cast Out, where are you? Good reason to cycle Censor to try to find Cast Out. Wow, they're going to play their own Quarry Hauler first. That gives me some time that my opponent probably shouldn't give me. I'm going to declare a block. Oh, they can still play Samut. They have 5 mana still. So, never mind. Gross. All right. So, oh, except they can't because I have Censor now. Oh, I almost let that resolve. See you later, Samut. See you later. We're in much better shape with a dead Samut. Yeah, I'll trade my Quarry Hauler for that. Okay, Curator of Mysteries, and I have enough mana to play it and leave mana up for Gale Strike, so that's pretty good. So we'll attack in the air. We will play Curator of Mysteries, and we'll end our turn. Minding, okay. We have one of those in our graveyard too when we need it. All right. So now if we bounce the Quarry Hauler, he needs to put another counter here, but I still think it's worth it. Hey, Kefnet. This is when Kefnet's like terrible. Late game situations where you're like, So we'll attack for 8. That censor was big. If our opponent had played differently and left 1 mana up, played around censor, we would have been dead, but... I'm going to go ahead and cast Mind now. Yeah, and then in my turn. All right, we got there. 2-0. Maybe I'll actually get a trophy on this channel now. So it puts us up to 29 and 16. We haven't really gotten to have fun with our Bounty of the Luxa yet, but, you know, we've had fun with lots of bounce spells and things. So, you know, see you guys in the next match. Hello, everyone. We're going into the final match of an Amonkhet draft. I usually do all 3 of them in a row, but maintenance happened in between, and so I had time to run errands and stuff. So that's why my hair is, in fact, shorter than it is in the other 2 videos. But yeah, so I'll be back with you guys once we find our opponent for our final match and try to finish with a trophy here on my channel for once, or I guess for twice. All right, we would like to play first. And it's kind of a weird hand, but I think we keep it. We probably cycle the Sandworm and play the Kudu on turn 3. We don't have any early plays or anything, but we have all our colors, so if we draw Cast Out, that'll be useful. Cycling does make a lot of hands more keepable in this format than they would be in others, because if you have like a 2-land hand and you have a card with cycling in it, it's way better than it would be otherwise. So let's play our island. I'm going to leave my mana up to make my opponent think maybe I have Essence Scatter or something, and wait to use cycling until the end of my opponent's turn. My opponent is also cycling. If you just draw another island, our Curator of Mysteries will potentially just sort of take the game over. Alright. So we're going to cycle our Sandworm. There's not another island. I think I'm just going to play my Kudu. I have the mana to do it now, so it makes sense to do. So I'm guessing our opponent's probably not a zombie deck, but it could be an Embalm deck, which has plenty of zombies in it and can make my guys get tapped all the time. Well, maybe they are a zombie deck, just straight up. So I'm going to tap my Kudu. Luckily, this is only target of a spell, so being targeted by that ability isn't enough. Okay, still no 4th island, but that's okay. I'm going to attack with my Kudu. Attack. Get in for 2. So, I mean, I can play Shimmer Skeldrake next turn. That's not the worst thing ever. We'll play our Labyrinth Guardian. Obviously, your opponent plays another zombie, taps this down. It's kind of a problem, but let's make them do it. So, I guess they're splashing blue for something. Perhaps the blue-white gold card, which would be pretty good in a deck with Embalm and such. Yep, call that. That is exactly what they're splashing. Okay. Ooh, I think now we probably just play Bounty of the Luxa. We don't have a ton of pressure on us, and we have the time to do it. So I'm just going to cast Bounty of the Luxa instead of playing Shimmer Skeldrake. And just try to, you know, the advantage that that's going to be giving us. It'll let us play our Curator of Mysteries once we get mana from it, because it gives you blue mana. And it'll draw us extra cards. And all of that seems pretty good to me. This can attack me now, of course, but that's okay. I can deal with that. So I draw a card first, right? Yes. Draw a card and then I get the mana the next turn. Then draw a card, then get the mana. Yep, Wind Guide hits us. Wow, double Aven Wind Guide. That's pretty gross. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I'm gonna play my Curator now. And just in my turn. Should I have played my Shimmer Scale Drake first? I guess there's something to be said for that, because if my opponent has a trick or something, losing my Curator is going to hurt a lot more than losing the Drake, but not a whole lot more. I mean, this isn't nearly as good when you don't play it on turn 4. Oh, I was going to say, I should have left blue mana up, but I can't because I had to pay double blue for the Curator. And that token has flying and vigilance. Yeah, I guess it already has vigilance. That's why it's not blue. So if our opponent plays a zombie, they can hit us pretty hard in the air here. Double Cartouche. Well, definitely going to be using Winds of Rebuke on that particular Aven Wind Guide. Yeah, we'll take 4. Right, gives me a bunch of mana. Okay, so this I think I'm going to use to cast Greater Sandworm. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana to cast the Sandworm. Yes, that'll work. And then I'm going to use Winds of Rebuke on Aven Wind Guide. I'm going to wait to do it till during my opponent's turn, though. We'll draw an extra card with our bounty on our turn. Right now, none of his creatures except this giant Aven Wind Guide can block Greater Sandworm. So that's a really big deal. And once we bounce this, when it comes back into play, it won't be able to block it either. Okay, well now we're just going to get gross because we're not going to let that Cartouche do anything. And our opponent won't be able to recast their Wind Guide. And they lose 2 more Cartouches. They do keep these creature tokens. That's not nothing. It means my Curator can't attack, basically. But my Sandworm can just get in there without any problem right now. Opponent has a ton of Cartouches. Ooh, Gale Strike. That's more of what I'm looking for. Can't be bouncing that guy, though. So... yeah. So Sandworm gets in for 7. Ain't nobody big enough to block him. So I guess I play Shimmer Scale Drake. Having another flying blocker and potential attacker, if we can ever get rid of both Aven Wind Guides, is pretty good. There may be something to be said. Maybe I should have cycled it. That wouldn't have hurt too much. Right? Another creature who can, in fact, not block Greater Sandworm. Now that it's cartoucheless. Ooh, Angler Drake. Okay. I think we play our Drake. We bounce one of the Wind Guides. Where does that leave us? Still means we can't attack that effectively with... Well, I'm probably going to attack with my Shimmer Scale. Well, is it worth it? It's really not worth it. It's really not. So, yeah, we're just going to get in with the Sandworm again. It does help me go wider with flyers, which matters. And I'll also play Bitterblade Warrior. So our opponent is in trouble if they can't come up with a creature big enough to block this Sandworm. They have three, they're going to have 4 flying blockers. Yeah, that Crop Mate can in fact block my Sandworm. So that's good for my opponent. I'm guessing he's going to play the Wind Guide who's still in his hand too. I don't know why he wouldn't. He needs the blocking, yeah. All right. And an extra card. Quarry Hauler, huh? Well, I can make it so I draw another card, but I don't know if I really want to do that. So... what do I want to do here? I wish I could just bounce this Crop Mate right now, but I can't. I mean, we're in good shape. I'm trying to kill my opponent as quickly as possible. And you know, the way to do that may be to just start attacking with my flyers. I think it probably is. Because he's got to block them. Especially the 4-power ones. So yeah, we're going to attack with all the flyers and our Sandworm. Which should do a pretty good job of destroying our opponent's board because, yeah, they can double block and kill some of these guys if they want to. Doesn't look like they're going to, though. They're going to go to 1 here. I'm down with that. Especially because we'll have killed 3 flyers and we have another flyer in our hand. Yeah, you might. No double block, huh? You're just willing to lose all those guys? Wow. Okay. There wouldn't have been any harm in him also blocking with Aven Wind Guide. He could have at least killed one of my guys, so I'm not sure why he didn't. There's actually no reason for us to play more cards right now. If our opponent has Dusk to Dawn or something like that right now, it'll be devastating enough for us that I don't really see a point in playing any more cards. So we're just going to pass the turn. Yep. Opponent is dead now. They drew a land. Bounty of the Luxa is a ridiculous card, and I've been very happy to draft it as many times as I have. I've drafted more Bounties of the Luxa than I have Angler Drakes. Probably shouldn't be that way, but that's how it is. Not sure. Does my opponent have... I guess they can Anointer Priest. Yeah, that won't do anything. Well, Greater Sandworm's good against our opponent. That's for sure. Has very few creatures who can actually block it. Ancient Crab doesn't seem extra good here. Stinging Shot does. He has at least 2 of those guys who give flying and vigilance to all of your dudes. Yeah, and we'll cut what we've been cutting basically every time we cut a card, add a card, and that is Heckma Sentinels. This is another hand made reasonable thanks to cycling. This would be a keep on the draw either way, but definitely with cycling. We both are Spring to Minds, which is kind of funny. I think we've gotten them both a couple times. So, on turn 2, we're going to hold up mana for Censor and also be ready to cycle Greater Sandworm. Basically my plan. Looks like our opponent's actually playing something. It's just a Sacred Cat, though, and they paid 2 mana for it, so I'm not that worried about it. Yeah, I will hold up Censor. If we don't censor anything, we'll draw a card. We'll cycle Greater Sandworm. And then play Ancient Crab, who just laughs at Sacred Cat all day long. So... Okay, we can't center that. And that is going to be a little obnoxious. I mean, we could have, but there was no point in censoring. Going to gain our opponent even more life. Alright, yeah, we're going to cycle our Sandworm. And we're going to play our Crab. I kind of feel like I need to put up the shields a little bit here, or things could get really out of hand. The Crab can help me do that. The opponent can obviously just attack and for the purpose of gaining life still, but at least they're not hitting us. Ooh. Makes me wish I'd left up mana for Censor there. That card's really good. Well, at least I drew a Stinging Shot. Takes away some of the sting. I think we just kill it now, because if we don't, it could be exerting and doing gross things. So, I think we just leave our mana up here. Instead of casting Spring, we leave mana up for Gale Strike. We know our opponent has, well, except Gale Strike's not going to help us if they play a Cartouche. It will, but not immediately the way our other bounce spell does. But we do know they love Cartouches, so if we can hit another Cartouche, I wouldn't feel too bad. I also don't feel too bad about this. It does have Embalm, but making my opponent do it again, and then I can just Gale Strike the token copy. Also avoids this warrior from being able to attack me this turn. Yeah, you're up to 26. That's cool. Guess I'm just gonna play Quarry Hauler here. These Spring to Minds are gonna be good in the later game, but right now I don't have a whole lot of time to cast them. I guess playing Seeker of Insight would have been fine there, but... How much does it cost to make this token? 6? So our opponent's a little ways away from that because they have Painted Bluffs. So opponent is out of gas, and we still got stuff going on in our hand, so that always feels good. They're not completely out of gas, obviously. Can they embalm Haven Wind Guide? They shouldn't be able to. 1, 2, so basically 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they only have 5 mana if they're using Painted Bluffs to make blue. I think they were trying to embalm it. Luckily, they can't. Oh, I was saying I could Gale Strike this, but I can't, sadly. Once it comes back, I won't be able to Gale Strike it. Okay. He's going to take a nap. A compulsory one. We're going to continue to block this. Continue to have our opponent gain a bunch of life. Okay, I'm going to pitch this Greater Sandworm. There's Winds of Rebuke, but I'm going to play Seeker of Insight here, who can block everything. Probably get my white mana when I do finally cast Spring. So I can double block and kill Sacred Cat now. We have that going for us. Our opponent's going to gain so much life in this game. we can draw it out, though. I mean, our opponent is still not really pressuring us, and they can't attack us anymore. Okay, so this time I do think I cast Spring. Yeah. I'll probably loot too. No, it's probably not worth it, actually. Being able to block is kind of nice right now. So I'll just end my turn. Okay, now our opponent can Embalm Aven Windguide, and that's not great news. This warrior will be able to attack us. There it is. Also, it's a zombie, so yeah, he gets to tap down. Yeah, that's pretty raunchy there. They're going to go up to 29. And then even more, because they're going to be able to attack with their Sacred Cat, so... I can Winds of Rebuke Aven Windguide token, though. So that's nice. Oh, he chose not to tap something? Oh, he didn't have the tappy thing in play. I was thinking he did. That's what happened. No tappy. I mean, yeah, it can come back with flying, but it won't be a 2/2 anymore, and I have flyers. So I will kill that. And take one. Go to the graveyard, Sacred Cat. You won't be there for very long, but you're there for now. Curator of Mysteries blocks super well right now. So I think we probably just play it. And sort of continue to durdle here. Here comes Sacred Cat. I get drained to life. My opponent gains 2 life. That's gross. All right. They're at 35, you guys. I think we can bring them down from that, but it's gonna take a while. I mean, we have card advantage by a lot, and we're gonna hold on to it thanks to Spring to Mind. But we've got to survive, so opponent can't really attack us though, so there's that. Yeah. Okay. Land. So if I used Winds of Rebuke right now, I could just destroy this Aven Windguide token, and these would both lose their flying. It might be better to just attack and then be able to bounce one of the blockers. But probably not. I'm just going to go with Winds of Rebuke on Aven Windguide. Threw a couple lands in there. We give our opponent a card with Embalm in their graveyard. I'm going to loot before I do anything else. And I will discard this land, which gets me to scry, and I'll put that land on the bottom. It does leave us pretty open if we attack here. So I don't think I'm going to do it. We have way too little life and our opponent has way too much. So I'm just gonna pass the turn. We can sacrifice our Quarry Hauler. Right, so we're gonna sacrifice our Quarry Hauler, go up to 16. We're not gonna cycle or anything. So we have 6 mana. We've got the mana. That's the mana that we need to cast Mind from our graveyard. I'm gonna attack with Curator of Mysteries. Right, drops our opponent to 31. And I'll play Shimmer Scale Drake. I'm going to start trying to go over our opponent to whittle down his life. Anointer Priest comes back. Opponent gains 2 life, 3 life actually, and we lose 1. Jeez. And another one. Okay. Yep. They may just bleed us out before we can kill them. Oh, there's Kefnet. Probably going to play it eventually, but I don't think now is the time. I'm going to attack with my Curator again. Crappy thing is if I Gale Strike this, he gets to gain all the life all over again. Yeah, so maybe I should just Gale Strike. I guess I do play Kefnet. There's no reason not to. Other than maybe leaving up mana for Mind, the Mind half of Spring to Mind, but... I think I am going to bounce this, which kind of sucks. We may end up milling ourselves before we can kill our opponent, the way things are going. It's pretty silly. Okay. Sacred Cat again. Alright, so I'm just going to draw a card with Kefnet then. And I'm not going to use the ability to return something to my hand. I don't really want to do that. Okay. I'm going to attack with both my flyers. Alright, he's only got 10 more life than me now. And I'm going to play another Shimmer Scale Drake. And I'll end my turn. So if we can get Kefnet online, we're suddenly swinging for a massive amount in the air. And we could get him online this turn. Maybe. Yeah, we'd have to use his ability. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would get us to 6 cards. No, that won't quite be enough, actually. Ooh. Of course, I don't have mana up for Gale Strike right now. Opponent gains some life back. I think I just take it if the Cursed Minotaur attacks me. Yep, that's what I do. Okay, so 4 cards. We can use Kefnet's ability twice if we want to. I'm sort of thinking of attacking with my flyers again and then just ending my turn. Now, using his ability twice won't quite work because I have to play this land to use his ability twice. No, that will work. That'll give me 4 cards in my hand, and then Kefnet can Kefnet plus Ancient Crab can block Cursed Minotaur. Seems reasonable. I can also leave up mana for Gale Strike in case things get a little too scary. So maybe I'll just attack with these two just to be safe here. Yeah. Okay, in my turn. This game's silly. Very silly. Our opponent, in the colors they're in, could have two different ways of actually exiling Kefnet anyway, which is pretty gross, too. Okay. You gonna bring the Thunder? No. Well, I'm just gonna draw 2 cards then. And yeah, this time we will return a land. Okay, so Kefnet is online now. I think that means I may as well attack with him. Still have to be a little conservative, but we have a bunch of low-costed blockers in our hand. Yeah. I mean, I could swing for 15 here, but that seems a little riskier than I want to go, so I'm just going to attack for 8. Okay, and then I'm going to play Kudu. I think I'm going to put the counter on Seeker of Insight. And I'm also going to play Bitterblade Warrior. And I'll end my turn there. Leave mana up for Gale Strike. Probably should have attacked with this and my Curator so that lethal just from the guys who don't need to be set up to be creatures like Kefnet needs could be creatures. But we should be okay. I mean, we'll have 4 cards in our hand at the end of our opponent's turn. So I can get us up to 7 just by casting Mind out of my graveyard on my turn. Yeah, the opponent just wants to gain life. They also want to... I think we just take this, because if we let them make a token, they're going to gain a bunch of life. I think just taking 1 is better. I actually don't have to take it. I can just block it with this and not kill it. Okay. Nothing worth Gale Striking, so we're not doing that. Okay. So... we could just cast Mind out of the graveyard, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we'd still be able to cast another Seeker of Insight. I think that's probably what we do. Five, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we can attack with... he can block one of them. But I'm still going to have enough blockers back that I'll be okay. And he has to block one of them. I'll have 4 blockers. If he has Innocatcher's Name, we're not going to be okay. So maybe, again, I should be a little more conservative. I think hitting him for 8 is good. We're in good enough shape that opening ourselves up to like a Haymaker win isn't worth it. So we'll just attack with them. Just going to take it, okay. Do we leave up mana for Gale Strike or play Seeker of Insight? I think leaving up mana for Gale Strike is probably going to be better. Yeah. Okay, that will give our opponent, get their opponent back up to 6 life. Lower us to 9. Is he going to bring any thunder? Looks like he's bringing some thunder. Okay. Innocatcher's Name seems very likely to me. Luckily, we can do a good job of blocking even if our opponent has Innocatcher's Name. So actually, I think I would rather block Sacred Cat in a way that it doesn't die for reasons already mentioned. Kill this Sacred Cat. Actually, we definitely want to kill this thing because it's keeping our opponent alive. So that means we're taking 1, 5. We're going to have to bounce this guy with Gale Strike. And if this isn't in play anymore, it won't be as big of an issue. I guess I can stick him here, even with Innocatcher's Name. This dies. Does mean my opponent will gain some life, but they won't drain us any. So yes, so that's 2. Yes, that's what we want to do. I'm going to say Gale Strike. There's Bounty of the Luxa. We dropped to 6. Opponent's at 8, but their board is decimated. And we can kill them in the air without much effort next turn. So that's what we'll try to do. I guess I can just attack with everything. There's a fog, but it's green. Nah, we'll just attack with the flyers. Too scared. I think our opponent's probably dead, but yep. All right. We went 3-0, got another trophy. So now I've gotten 2 on this channel at least. Our win rate goes up. That was a sweet deck. Blue-green decks, you know, looking at the format, I thought I would like blue-green decks, and I thought I'd be ramping all the time with them, but they're really just good aggro decks. I'm not aggro decks, control decks, because you get lots of really big creatures like the sandworm and lots of good ways to interact with your opponent's stuff, all this tempo bouncing stuff, and it's great. I think I've done pretty well basically every time I've drafted blue-green, so we did it again. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again for next week's draft. Don't forget my content sponsored in part by 5colorcombo.com. One of the things they have is an app that allows you to practice drafting whatever the newest set is, or any set. You can draft old sets too for fun. And it's a really good way to do it because you can do it anywhere on your phone. They also have a store where you can use my discount code NEEDZone5 for a 5% discount. Thanks for watching.